So I typically give them 2 suggestions. So it depends, like, if they're starting out, right? They're businesses and they don't have a lot of marketing budget. I use or I use a simple formula called the minimum viable budget, MVB, which is $5 per ad per day. So if you run 2 ads and 2 audiences for so that you at least have, variation so you can see what works best, audience A or audience B, ad A or ad B, that would put you at about $300 and you could do a campaign of 2 weeks. So you spend more and less amount of time, and make it more, like, concentrated. So that's the minimum viable budget if you want to, like, run a test, and you don't have a lot of budget. You at least need enough where it's enough to reach those people in the audience, right? Where it's not too spread out, where it's not going to work because we know that for someone to convert, right, they need to see your ad multiple times. They need to be going through a whole customer journey. And so that's going to take them seeing the ads more often, which is more money, et cetera, and a bunch of other reasons. But that's the minimum viable budget. The second one is sales projection. I use the sales projection calculator, and that's more based on if this is your revenue goal, then you need X amount you need to spend or invest, $5,000 in budget in order to meet your $20,000-$30,000 goal, depending on how much your leads cost, what's your conversion rate, all the little jargon terms. But so those are 2 methods, and the one I recommend just depends on where the business is, right? And how much budget they have for dedicated specifically to marketing and advertising. If they tell me, Natasha, I don't really have any, I'll be like, all right, well, use the MVB. If they're like, no, I'm ready to rock and roll, like, I want to accelerate my sales, I know that we can sell more, and this is just like a way of acquiring more new customers, that I'm like, cool. Well, like, what's your sales goal? And then we do it that way. So those are the 2 methods, and
I love this approach.
yeah, they work.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because I came up with the MVB because people were telling me their sales goal, and then when I told them, okay, cool, that sounds great. So in order to get 10,000 a month in sales, you're gonna need to spend X amount, and they'd be like,
Whoa.
what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, ads are expensive. Like, I don't know why people think it's cheap, like back in the day, but ads are expensive. And also I remind them that this is your front end revenue. If you have a product that you can buy multiple times, or there's upsells, you have to think of it as a business person. You have to think of it as, like, what's the lifetime value of my customer, not what am I making off this person. That sounds wrong, but what am I making up front, right?
Yeah, from
You got
this
to think of it
specific
long
sale.
term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it's a
true.
long-term game. You
That's
said
true.
that.
But because you've been like,
Mhm.
you have MBA, so you can say that to people.
Yes.
Because you
Yes,
understand
I
business.
can. And right. And I tell them, I'm like, listen.
Here's my degree behind me on the wall. I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. And experience, that combined. So yeah, I feel confident in, letting them know what's up, being honest. Because really, it's like, I'm not going to benefit from you not winning,
That's